down with LPP?
Yeah, you know me.
You down with LPP?
Yeah, you know me.
You down with LPP?
Yeah, you know me.
And we are back at the OPP, the Oquendo Perspective Podcast. First and foremost, I would like to thank Yahuwah, the Most High, for this opportunity. Without him, none of this is possible. Remember this, all honor, power, and glory belongs to him, for he is the way, the truth, and the life. With that being said, my people, que lo que hay, mi gente, what it is. What's going on? May Yahuwah bless whoever joins in to this conversation. In today's episode, we're actually going to go over the two little topics. The first one is going to be, so we're going to go over the story of Father Abraham. You know, in the Bible, the story of Father Abraham starts off when he's older already, but you really don't get his origin story, you know. And to tell you the truth, I didn't even know his origin story till recently. This is why it's so exciting, because I did not know this. You know, whenever you get some new information, it's like, whoa, man, you know what? Hey, this is why you read, to study yourself, you know, hey, to get more knowledge, you know, and grow in wisdom and whatever it may be, you know. So, like I said, it's just recently, maybe about 3 weeks ago, I heard I read through the origin story of Father Abraham, but he wasn't called Father Abraham or Abraham till he was like 99 years old. He was called Abram. So we're gonna hear the story of Abram, his origin story, and how he became Father Abraham, and how, you know, you have to understand the word, the Bible, and to understand this, you know, saying this, the word, you have to know his story. You know, he is the original guy he is the original person that Yahuwah made the covenant with, and he made promises to Abraham that trickled down to Isaac, his son, and then to Jacob, his grandson, who became Israel, who Israel had 12 kids, and that's where the 12 tribes come from. So now today, we're going to go over the origin story of Abram. And then after that, I'm going to go over I'm going to talk about a little bit about pride, you know. So we'll get into that when the time comes. But for now, let's hear this story. All right. So to get to since like I said, I read the Bible, but I never read this part of his life, because this part of his life is not in the Word. It's not in the Bible. You actually have to go read an Apocrypha, the Book of Jasher, and the Book of Jasher fills in the gaps that the Bible doesn't have. Okay, so we're gonna commence this conversation in the Book of Jasher. So I'm going to tell it in story form. So, so if you want to get details, then you must go and read it yourself. I'm just going to say it in story form, you know. But it starts on Jasher chapter 7. And we're going to go through chapter 7 all the way to chapter 17 in the Book of Jasher. And then we're also going to touch on a little bit of his life when he became... When the Bible picked it up. So the Bible picked it up in Genesis 11, and if you want to read that part of the story, Genesis 11 to Genesis chapter 17. This is the stuff we're gonna go over today. All right. So let's go back to chapter 7, Jasher chapter 7. Okay. So it all started in the time of Nimrod, okay? And Nimrod, this was before the Tower of Babel was built, okay? So at this time, all the world was speaking one language. They were speaking one language. So the Father hadn't came down yet, and he hasn't confused the languages yet. So everybody was speaking the same language. And King Nimrod was the first one who, after the flood, he was the first kingdom to be set up. But he didn't follow the ways of Yahuwah. He built idols and gods of stone and wood. So he did not follow, saying what Yahuwah was, saying what Yahuwah was trying to fix. When he with the flood, Noah, Shem, Ham, and Japheth, those are his kids. They knew of Yahuwah when Nimrod kind of rejected. He's the son of Cush, grandson to one of the three. I think I'm not sure. I can't remember right now. Like it says in story form, I have to read it to you. But it's either Japheth, Ham, or Japheth, Ham, or Shem. Okay, so one of those three guys had a son named Cush, and then Cush had Nimrod. Okay, and Nimrod was the first king to create a kingdom, and here that's where we're at. We're at this time before the Tower of Babel. So let's start the story, chapter 7. So, Turok was the head. He was the head of the host of the prince's host. So whenever the king Nimrod had like an occasion, he was the one setting it up and getting everything together. And setting up the party or whatever it was gonna be. He was very close to King Nimrod, basically, and everybody loved him. All the princesses loved him, and all the servants and the sages, they all loved him. So they were close to him. Okay, so then when he was 70 years old, he bore, his wife bore a child, and he named him Abram. See, not Abraham, Abram. Okay, so then since he was in favor with the king, it became a huge party, a huge feast. So all the sages and all the saying the servants of the king and the princesses, they came to the party, to the gathering that Turok had for his son. They had a huge party. They were kicking it. It was a great time. So when the sages and when the party ended, the sages and the servants, they came out of Turok's house and they looked up in the sky, and then they saw a star coming from the east, and it came and it swallowed all the other four stars from the world. Saying the four, north, west, east, south. One came and swallowed them all up. So the sages were like, "Oh man," because they were the ones that would interpret dreams and do things like that, So they quickly went back and told King Nimrod, "Oh man, you don't know what happened. Something's going on with the newborn of Turok, because as soon as it came out, we saw all these, the star do this, it did all this, and what that means is that person is gonna grow big, and he's gonna be somebody that's gonna go to oppose you. He's gonna oppose you." So Nimrod, who was like, "What?" He got upset. So he went and he sent for Turok. Sent for Turok, come and bring your son. Turok knew that no king liked for hearing that somebody was being born to oppose him. So what did he do? He didn't take Abram. He went and grabbed a child from one of his handmaidens. She also had a child around that time. So he took that child. He took that child and went up to King Nimrod, and he presented the child to King Nimrod, pretending it was Abram, but it was Abram. King Nimrod grabbed it and smashed his head on the ground. Boom. Smashed his head and killed the baby on the ground and sent Turok away. Okay, so Turok was scared. He's like, "Oh man, what am I gonna do?" So he went home and grabbed his little baby boy Abram and his wife, Abram's mom, and the nurse, and he moved them into a cave. So once a month he would come and give them whatever they needed to hold off for the month. Once a month he would come and give them everything they need. So he did this for 10 years. 10 years. Okay. After the 10 years, Abram moved with Noah and Japheth. See, I did not know that. The timeline is off if you just read the Bible. But if you read this book and put it all together, they lived like Noah and Abraham lived together, and he lived there for 39 years. So see, Abram was being taught about Yahuwah, the Most High, from Noah and Japheth. They knew him. They knew the Most High, and they were teaching Abram about Yahuwah and how he's the creator and how he created everything. He's the one that cleared up he caused the flood and wiped off the earth. You know, he's the king. He's the most high. He's the Elohim. At the time they call him Elohim of the world. Okay, so then right before so remember he was 10 when he moved to Noah's house. He spent there 39 years. So right now he's about 49, about to be 50 years old. Okay, so during that time when he was being taught, he learned all about Yahuwah, but he didn't know him. He just knew of him. He didn't know him. So at one point he was trying to figure out who is the Elohim of this world. And then he looked up and it was daytime and he saw the sun. He goes, oh, the sun. That must be the Elohim of this world, the God of this world. That must be it. But then so he prayed to him, and he spent the day with the sun, and then he noticed that the sun went down and disappeared. He's like, what? This cannot be the Elohim of the world. So then he looked up in the sky again. He saw the moon and the stars. He goes, oh, this must be the creator of life. This must be the one that caused all the havoc in the world. This must be, the Elohim of the world. But then, so he stayed and prayed with, saying, and then the night went down, the sun came back up and said, oh, that can't be the Elohim of this world. That can't be the God of this world. You know what? The sun and the moon and the stars, those must be his workers, his helpers, Elohim's helpers. They must be his helper, So he was already trying to figure out what was going on. He didn't know who Yahuwah was, but not yet. But he knew of him, but he didn't know him yet. But he knew that there was an Elohim out there that was in control of the world. So when he was about 50 years old, he went back home to his father's house in Tarak. And remember, Tarak was very close to the king. The king, he had made idols of wood and stone. So what was Tarak doing? Tarak, when Abram went home, he went into the inner place, and he noticed that in one of the rooms that his father Taruk had 12 different deities made out of wood and stone, one for each month. And then monthly he would go and pray to these wood and stone and give them offerings or whatever. He was basically following what Nimrod was teaching, the king. Okay, so but that upset Abram because he knew that these people had no power. They had no power. Somebody made them, so he got upset. So then he goes and talks to his dad and he says, hey, Dad, how about you introduce me to the creator of life and the creator of this world? So his dad comes and takes him into the room and says, these are it. These 12 guys, these 12 deities are the ones who made the world and created everything. These are it. Okay. So they went away. Within the next couple of days, Abram went up to his mom and said, "You know what, Mom? My father Turak has introduced me to the deities of this world. So I want to set up an offering. I want to make him a dinner. Saying and I want to make him a special dinner, and sacrifice for these deities." So then the first time he went over there, he set up a huge plate, a huge dinner, and he sat there and he waited. He was waiting for the deities to wake up and to grab some food and eat with them. But that never happened. So he's like, whoa, what happened? Why did nothing happen here? So then he goes, oh man, you know what? He started making excuses. Oh man, you know what? I must not made enough food. I must have not made. I must have picked not. I should get better animals to sacrifice. So then he goes back to his mom the next day and says, hey mom, I need the best animals that we have, and I need more food so I can go worship, and I can come, and give this meal to our creators, and sacrifice to them. So then there he goes. The second day he came, made all this food. It was all there. He was sitting there with these 12 deities that are made out of wood and stone. Nobody ate. So the Ruach took over Abraham. The Ruach Hakodesh, which is the Holy Spirit to you guys. Um, so it took over him, and Abraham got mad, and he took a hatchet and started busting all the deities down and breaking them. You know what I'm saying? And breaking them, and breaking them because he's like, these people have no power. These people are nothing. You know what I'm saying? Why are we worshiping these people, these deities? You know? So then Turok just happened to be coming home as this was going on, and he heard the commotion going on in that room. So he starts running towards the room. Well, Abram, before he left the biggest deity there and put the hatchet in the biggest deity's hand. And he walked out as Turok was coming in. Okay? So then Turok goes in and sees, and Abraham walks out, and Turok comes in and says, "Whoa, what the heck happened here?" And then he runs out and he goes talks to Abram. Abram, why did you bust all my gods, all my deities, everything for that I've built? And Abram, he kind of lied to his dad, said, "It wasn't me. It wasn't me. If you go in there, the biggest statue or the deity there, he's the one that has a hatchet in his hand. He slayed and killed and smashed all the other deities, because those other deities, they reached into the food and tried to grab the food before he did, which upset him. So he went and tore up all the other 11 deities." Turok got upset, like, how? Why are you lying to me? These deities, they don't have no souls, no spirits. I built them. Why are you lying to me? The big deity didn't go and break these. So then they went back into the room, and Abram grabbed the hatchet and broke the big one too. And he told his father, "Father, how can you worship Elohim that has no power? Doesn't create nothing, doesn't do anything, doesn't move, can't eat with you. Why would you worship that when there's no power to it? You should be worshiping the creator of the world, Yahuwah, Yahuwah, the ones that Noah and Shem were teaching him about." Well, Turok got upset. He got upset at Abram, so he went back to King Nimrod, and then he spilled the beans. He told on himself, "You know what? That child that you smashed his head, that wasn't my son Abraham. I was scared to bring my son, so I brought my handmaiden son, and you smashed him." So now King Nimrod got pissed off and told Turok, "Who told you to do this?" Turok got scared. He wasn't gonna be like, I did it myself. So Turok blamed his oldest son, Huron. He said, "Huron and told me to do it. Told me to do it, and told me to do it, and that's why I did it. Because I was afraid that you were gonna hurt. We were afraid that you were gonna hurt my son, his brother." Okay. Now Huron is 32 years older than Abram. Okay. Remember, that's very important. Huron is 32 years older than Abraham. Okay. So then now King Nimrod's upset. He's like, "You know what? Bring me Huron, and bring me Abram. Bring them both to me right now." And so Turok came and brought him to him, and then King Nimrod set up a furnace, a huge fire, and he got them all naked, just the undergarments that left them with undergarments, but so he took all the clothes off. He bounded them, he bounded them, and he threw them into the furnace. Now the whole everybody was watching. The whole city was watching this happen. The kids, wives, women, children, man, they were all watching what's going on. So as soon as the Abraham and Huron, got thrown into the fire, Huron burnt instantly. He burned to ashes instantly, And so, but Abram fought. He found like good in the father's eyes, so the father protected him, and he was there sitting there, walking around in the fire for 3 days. His undergarments were burned, nothing was burning. So then the sages and the servants went and told King Nimrod, hey, the brother's dead. The soldiers that threw him in, they died. But Abraham, he's still in there. He's okay. Nothing's burned. So King Nimrod was like, "What? Get out of here!" So he sent some other servants to go reconfirm, is this true? So then they came back and said, "Yes, it's true. He's been there for 3 days walking around." So then King Nimrod goes down there himself and sees him, and he sees what they were saying is true. So he's like, "Oh," he told his servants, "Hey, go get him out of there. Get him out of there." So 8 of them, they went over there and they all got burnt. They died. They got burnt to crisp. Boom. So instead of sending some more soldiers or servants, and he called Abram, come out from there. So Abraham came out, and Nimrod's like, "How is it possible that you didn't die? Everybody's dying, you didn't die." And Abraham goes, "My Elohim, the creator of everything, protected me. He didn't allow for me to get burned, So when he came out of the furnace, this was like a miracle. So everybody started bowing to Abram, but Abram goes, "No, don't bow to me. Hey, this had nothing to do with me. Bow to the creator of this world, your true Elohim, and turn away from these deities that you guys are worshiping." So then Nimrod's like, you know what, your God is good. Your God is good, and so then all the princesses and sages, they all gave money and gold or silver to Abram, and they sent them away. Okay, so at this time, remember, he's 50 years old. Okay, so then he goes back home. And like 2 years pass, and King Nimrod had a dream. And in the dream, the sages that predicted the dream to him said, "Hey, it's been 52 years since Abraham, you didn't kill him, but your dream has to do, your dream is that he's going to come and he's going to take over your kingdom. He's going to oppose you. You should take care of it 52 years ago, but you didn't. So now we're still dealing with the consequences." So Nimrod got upset and says, "You know what? Go find him." Well, when all the princes gave Abraham, Abram money, a lot of like 300 people followed Abram home. So one of Abram's servants was there that day when one of Nimrod's servants told Nimrod, "Hey, he's gonna oppose you." And Nimrod said, "Go get him." So Abram's servant was there, and he ran back and told Abram what was going on. So then Abram got scared, and he went and he hid. He went to hide. Where did he go hide? He went to go hide with Noah and Shem. And for about a month, he was there hidden. Nimrod couldn't find him. Nimrod was pissed off, couldn't find him, but he's like, you know what? He's a lost cause. He's probably dead. It's a lost cause. So he stopped worrying about him. So when this happened, Turok, the father, came to visit Noah and Shem, where Abram was staying, and to visit his son. And his son, his father, let's get out of this land. Let's go to the land of Canaan. Let's go to the land of Canaan, because Nimrod's not king over there, and he can't get to us over there. But if we stay here, he's going to kill me. He's going to kill our whole family if he knows we're here. He had already killed his older brother Huron. Now, Noah and Japheth said, "He's right. You guys should go." So then Turok left and started going towards Canaan. Okay, and he took Huron's son, which is Lot. And he had he had a sister. He had two sisters. He had 3 kids. Huron had 3 kids. He had Lot, Milcah, and Sarai. Okay, Sarai. Now Sarai was also Abraham's wife. Okay, so anyways, so then this is where the Bible picks up. Now we're going to go into Genesis. Okay, and the Bible, it says that Turak took his people and they moved and they reached the land of Huron, and they dwelled there for a couple years. Okay, and then he died at the age of 205 years old, something like that. 205, 210 years old, something like that. Well, then at 55 is when Abram became head of the household, because before the father was Turak was, well, okay, and then so he took over, and now he was the head of the household. Okay, so they were growing. They had good land. They lived in a good land. You know, the father came and said, "Hey, you know what? I need you to keep going towards the land of Canaan. Leave, go towards the land of Canaan. Go towards that way. Go towards the land of Canaan, because I'm gonna make your seed fruit. You're gonna be bountiful, and your seed is gonna bless the entire world. But I need you to go towards Canaan, because that's the land I'm gonna give you. Yeah, okay. So then they went towards that way. They went south more. Okay, so it was him. So it was Abram and Lot, and they moved into this land, and they were growing. So it became a problem, because they didn't have enough land for the amount of people and the amount of cattle that they had. So the workers of Lot, they were going into other people's properties and eating up all their food. And the same thing with Abram, was going into their food and eating up their cattle, was eating all the food and their cattle wasn't getting fed, because these people were coming taking over. So then Abram tells Lot, you know what? You're my nephew and all, but we gotta separate. You know what I'm saying? So you know what? In fact, you could choose which way you want to go. And then Lot looked around and goes, "Oh, I want to go this way, towards Jordan." You know what I'm saying? To the land of Sodom. Okay, he went that way. Abram went the opposite way. But Abram told him, "Hey, it's not that I dislike you. I can't stand you, because it's just we need space and we need to separate. You know." But if anybody messes with you, don't be afraid to come tell me, and I will go and help you out. Okay. So then they were apart. All of a sudden, the king of Elam came and took over Sodom, and came over and took over Sodom, and took all the people from Sodom into captivity. So he took Lot and his whole family. They took all their gold, all their precious metals, everything. They took them. They stole it all. Well, one of the followers of Lot was able to get away, and he went and told Abram. So now Abraham found out what had happened, and he had 300 strong men with them, and he went and chased the king of Elam to the land of Dan, and there. These 300 is separated, and they were able to overthrow the king of Elam. Okay. So then, when he overthrew him, the king of Sodom came back, and they were able to retrieve all their prices, all their gold, all their metal, all the people, all the cattle. They were able to bring it all back to the land of Sodom. Okay. So Abram went and helped out his nephew. Okay, so then all of a sudden, Abram meets Melchizedek, King Melchizedek. He's the king of Salem, but he was also a priest of the Most High Yahuwah. And Melchizedek came and he blessed Abram. Okay, and Abram went and gave him a thigh. Okay. Now the king of Sodom saw this and said, "Oh, you know what? Just give me my people, and you can keep all the plunders, everything that you helped us with." And Abram goes, "No, thank you. I don't want none of your stuff, because I don't want anybody to think that you're the reason why I became rich. The Most High is gonna take care of me." Okay, very important. When he thied to Melchizedek. You might read over that and miss it, but that's a very important very important thing that happened there. And they really don't talk about Melchizedek again to Yahusha, the New Testament. So that's the only time they talk about him. And then you read the whole Testament, and then really they don't really talk about him again to the New Testament when Yahusha was here. Okay. So then all of a sudden, they're off in their land, and the Most High comes down and tells Abraham, you are going to come outside, look at the stars. You see the stars. That's how many your descendants you're gonna have. Your descendants are gonna bless the whole world. You're gonna have all this land. You're gonna have it's all these the promises of the covenant that they made between Yahuwah and Abram were made then. Okay. Well, that same night, Abram got tired, weary, and went to sleep. And the Father showed him in the dream the future. And in the dream, the Father says, "Your people are going to be lost for 400 years. They're going to be taken into captivity for 400 years, and they're going to be working somebody else's land, and they're going to be slaves, and they're going to be captive for 400 years." Okay, so this was like a nightmare to Abram. So he woke up like, "Oh my gosh, what is this?" So don't get it confused. See, a lot of people read that part and they think, "Oh, well, once Israel had Joseph, and Joseph moved into Egypt, they spent a little more than 400 years there." But see, not all 400 years where they were captive. They were only captive about 230 years of that time that they were in Egypt. So the Father really showed him these last 400 years, saying what the 400 years where the slave trade, and we were slave, and then saying the people, the Israelites became slaves over here in the Americas, and they were so the Father already knew what was going to happen way back then and showed Abram in a dream. Now, how awesome is that? That's awesome. Okay, so then he gets up. He gets up, and he's some time passed, and the Father the Abraham prays to the Father and says, "How is it possible that I'm going to have all these sons like you said, but I don't have an heir? I don't have a son. I don't have a son. How do you mean? And I'm already getting older. I'm getting older, So then Sarai, his wife, was like, "You know what? I'm barren. I can't have no kids. Why don't you go and take my servant Hagar and take her as your wife and go, have a child with her." And Abraham, 86 years old, it's like, "All right, I'm going ahead and knock this out real quick. Get me an heir real quick, So he bore a son named Ishmael. Okay. So now Sarai got upset that now Hagar kind of held more of a position because the son was the one that was going to take over the father's things after Abram passed. But then the Father told him, no, it's not going to be Ishmael. Your wife Sarai is going to have a child. Okay? And this happened, he told them this, Abram was 99 years old when he had Isaac, which like I said, from there are the blessings. Isaac, then goes Jacob, who turned Israel, and Israel, the 12 tribes. Right there, that's when the Father said, from now on, your name is going to be Abraham, and your wife, her name is Sarai, but her name is going to be Sarah. And that is the origin story of Abram, and how he became, saying, because he was a man. He was a man. Abraham wasn't playing no games. That man wasn't playing no games. He built a lot of respect for himself. He had a lot of land for himself, you know. And like I said, he was the one that built the covenant with the Most High Father. So that I thought to me that was kind of awesome. Like I said, I didn't know this story. I only knew the part where like I said in Genesis 11 it starts and they start talking about when Turok and they went to Huron and then to Canaan and Turok died. I know from there on. But all the prior stuff I did not know until I was what? Until what happened? I read myself approved. Now I know a little more history than before. How awesome was that? And that's the first part of this episode. The second part of this episode that I want to talk about is, so me on Friday nights, sundown is Shabbat. It's Shabbat. It's the seventh day that saying that's the day that the Father commanded us to rest. He worked for 6 days, seventh day, rest. Don't do anything. Don't work. Saying just spend time with your family, and saying you can't buy or sell anything because if you're buying something, you're making somebody else work. You can't work. You can't make somebody else work, and you're supposed you make food. Before sundown, you sit there and make a big meal to cover the Friday night and the Saturday during the day. Okay, and the Shabbat ends at Saturday sundown. It's 24 hours, sundown and sundown. Okay, so on Friday nights, me and my family we get together and we have a meal. We speak about the Lord a little bit. We'll watch movies that have to do with faith. And just try to push ourselves forward towards the Father, and it's very contagious, Once you start doing the Sabbath, for some reason, Shabbat, you want to do more. It's like like weed is a gateway drug. You smoke, and all of a sudden you want more. Like, oh, I want something stronger. Well, Shabbat is the same way towards the enemy. Shabbat. If you do that, you want more. You want to know more about the Father. You want to get closer. You want to build your relationship with Him. But I was talking to my son about my son, and I was telling him one of the biggest problems that society that we're dealing with right now is pride. I've spoken on pride before, but I've never heard I received a download from the Father, and I've never heard pride dealt in this manner or tried to be understood in this manner or tried to be explained in this manner. Okay. So so I was telling my son, first and foremost, the key is being humble. Understand that you don't know nothing. You only know what we're getting led to be known. There's a whole other worlds out there that we don't know nothing about. So you must humble yourself. And if you humble yourself, the Father will feed you because why? It's not about you. It's about Him. Okay? And I tell him, this is when you humble yourself, this is what you have to start with this. In the beginning, when the Father says that He made Adam, He made him from what? He made him from dirt and clay. So that start right there. All we are is dirt and clay. We are nothing more than what He makes us, and He made us out of dirt and clay. Now, we are more than dirt and clay because we are His son. You build a relationship. We're His son now. Now we're the son of the King of Kings. We're not dirt, just in clay. No, we're the sons now. And one of the biggest problems I see with when people convert to something, to convert to Christianity or Catholicism, what I'm talking about. When you're doing that prayer and the pastor or the priest, do you accept Yahusha as your Lord and Savior? And you're like, yeah. Well, see, that's there commences the problem. The problem is this: who are you to accept Him? He's Yahuwah, the Most High. Who are you to accept Him? The question should be, Father, will you accept me as your son? Humble yourself. It's not about you. Everything is about Him. And I was trying to explain to a friend and to my son, hey, one of the biggest problems is pride. That's what it is. Pride will put a veil over your eyes. Will not let you. You know what? Nobody likes to hear that they don't know something. All of a sudden they get defensive and they want to start arguing with you. And see, all that is pride. See, pride is not just like, oh, I'm better than you, I'm better than you, I'm better than you. No, no, no. It's admitting that you don't know nothing. Admit that you don't nothing. Nothing. You don't know nothing because his ways are higher than ours. We don't know nothing. Start there. Start meditating there and asking the Father for advice, for, saying, try to build your relationship with him like that, humbly, giving him all the credit because it's all about him and not about us. But again, it's a hard conversation to have with, saying, it's like, for you chosen ones, you guys understand that you just can't go out and tell people, hey, this. They're not going to understand it. They're not, because their eyes haven't been opened to see what you've seen. Okay? So I'm over here, so I'm meditating, Father, how can I explain this to somebody that I'm trying to talk to but don't really get what I'm saying? But they're getting defensive because they think I'm calling them dumb, or they think you just don't understand. It's not that. The fact of the matter is, I didn't even know till the Father, Yahusha introduces who he wants to the Father. When he led me, then that's when I was able to raise, to go up a different dimension. I was able to raise dimensions, raise my frequency. My energy has changed. I understand. I see things different, and I understand the word different. The Father have a relationship where he gives me downloads when he wants me to say something. He'll give me a download, say it like this. So he gave me a download on how I should explain to people who don't really get it yet. And their pride is not allowing them to get it, So this is the download that I received to explain to, for you chosen ones. This, you can use this and explain to the other people. Hey, it's hard for me to just open up and tell you everything because you're gonna think I'm crazy. First of all, you're gonna reject me, and I might be hurting you more than helping you. And you guys know that. You guys know that if you guys ever do try to talk to people about stuff that that they don't know about, spiritual stuff, it becomes quickly, they shun you away, they turn from you, they stop talking to you, they think that you think you're better than them. So here, this is the download the Father gave me to try to help someone understand the difference between understanding and not understanding. And pride is right in the middle. Pride is the reason why they're allowing themselves to humble themselves and be like, you know what, I don't know anything. You know what, all I am is dirt and clay. I really don't know much. I don't know nothing. So this is what I come up with. This is what the Father comes up with me. Okay. So pride is the biggest problem, especially because people try to interpret the world based on their limited perception. Their limited perception. That's what's going on here. We are limited. We don't know nothing really, but we think we know everything. But see, you must humble yourself down and say, you know what? My perception is limited. I only know what I'm being allowed to know. Okay? Okay. The limited perception of it. Okay. They tell themselves stories to try to make sense of what they can't understand. They are desperate to believe that the narrative they create is the truth. Now, I'm going to give you an example. It's like me. Who am I? Nobody. Dirt and clay. That's it. Now, who am I to pretend to understand how the Father is going to govern or how the Father is going to judge? I don't know. I have no clue. But as a human being, we try to if there's a problem, we try to solve it. So what we do, we come up with ideas. Maybe he does like this. Maybe he should do it like this. See, all that is pride because we should be doing is be quiet and hey, you know what? If you want me to know, Father, you let me know what you want me to know. You fill me in. But pride most of the time gets in the middle and then you shoo yourself away from the truth because guess what? Pride. So remember this: humility is key. Key. Meditate, pray, be thankful for everything. Be humble. Understand that we don't know anything. We only know what we are told. We have a limited perception. That was the download. And that's I was able to talk to my friend about this and hopefully I haven't spoken to them after that. Hopefully they understood a little better. I haven't even spoken about this to my son yet. In a couple of days, Shabbat will be here, and I'll be able to talk to my son about this download that the Father has given me. Well, that'll be it for today's episode. So, from the Oquendo perspective, may Yahuwah bless everyone that came into this conversation. Stay safe. Stay smooth. Peace.